Okay. So any questions on this program?
No.
So the steps are very simple. Create object for file class and create object for file input stream class. And then while loop. Use the while loop. So initialization, while the condition. Then, so you're converting into, so character. Byte data you got, that byte you are converting into character. So that character you are printing. So you may get here, if this file is not there, suppose I don't have this file, right, in this location. So now you will see what is the exception you will get. So now definitely this line will execute and the remaining code will skip and it will come to catch block. So now file not found exception you will get. See that, file not found exception. So the system cannot find the file specified. It's clearly saying, right? So that's the advantage of that. So this is the, so another thing which is throwing. So file not found exception, null pointer exception, because this is not executed. That's why you're getting a null pointer exception also. So here you're getting so on the null variable, you are calling close method, right? So here also you're getting again, finally block inside also you're getting another exception. So if you get a exception, then it won't execute because this is throwing a null pointer exception. Why FAS is null? Because this is not set. This value is not set for FAS. Here FAS value is null is there. That's why we are getting a null pointer exception. All this you need to understand. So we are getting here in this line, 32 line. So null pointer exception. Because, so here you declared null FAS value as a null, but in the 22 line is not executed. That's why FAS has a null only. On that null variable, the finally block will execute, right? Obviously. On the null variable, what you are doing? You are calling the close method. That is the reason you are getting a null pointer exception here also. So that's all the exceptions. Again, one more time I'm covering. So next, buffered input stream. So buffered input stream. So again, you need first file object reference variable, file input stream object reference variable, buffered input stream object reference variable, and input file path. So this one you can now. So give that file. From this file, I'm reading the data. So you can keep this in the try catch block itself. So F equal to C. You can declare like that. Till now, I haven't shown you. You are creating directly, right? Class name reference variable equal to new class name, right? But I'm showing differently here. Observe this. What we are doing here, object reference we declared globally. And then what I'm doing here, that object reference variable I'm using here to pass that value, to assign the value for that reference variable. Here also FAS value, I declared here, left part. That means, so why we declared here? So that I can use this reference variable globally anywhere, in any methods, in the entire class. That's why we declared globally. So when you can declare object reference globally, why you need to declare globally? If I want to use the same object reference in multiple methods, then I can declare one time, so globally, and I can use that object reference in multiple methods. That purpose you will declare globally. And then BAS equal to new buffered stream FS int I equal to 0. I want to read now from this file. You have to read and then until that is not -1, you read it and store in the I variable, and then So convert into character, and that character you print. See, this is the how read method is helping. You are reading from the BAS, not from FAS, because FAS is passed to BAS constructor. From BAS only you have to read now, because that entire data is so in the buffering place. From that buffering, you need to read. And previous program, FAS only you are reading. So this is one by one character it will read. One by one byte code it will read. But this one, so large chunk of data it will read at a time. That's the difference between file input stream and buffered input stream. So there will be a large data is there, then only you can observe the difference between this and this when you use this one. And then catch file not found exception, e.print stack trace, finally fas.close. So just run this. This is the one. See, the data is reading from the file very fast. So is this clear? So file input stream and buffered input stream only I have shown you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the next one, reading with a file input stream is done. Now we need to read with a file reader. File reader and buffer reader, both we'll use. So let's go and see file reader and buffer reader, how to. So again, create object for file class. Always you have to use a file class to represent the file. Anywhere you want to represent the file, so you need this file class object. Mandatorily you have to represent the file. So to represent any kind of file, you need to use a file class. So file reader, a buffer reader, so and private static. Why I'm using static all? Because you are using under main method. So these variables also should be static only. And so f equal to new file and input file path. This is the input file path. I'm giving input for this file class object, and fr equal to new file reader, and so this one file object you need to pass. And for br, you need to pass fr object. So string s equal to null. Try. So while s equal to br dot read line is not equal to null. So read line, why I'm using? Because this buffer reader will read entire line. That's why I'm using a read line. So when you can use a read line, if you're reading the entire string, entire line, then you can use a read line method. So this is available in the buffer reader class. That's why we are using that. System.out.println, and that entire line I'm printing. So I assign to s, right? So that s value I'm printing. So then catch IO exception and e dot print. You can start from here itself. So not only here, you can start from here. So create object file, because that's how it can throw an exception, right? In the if file is not, so you can put there also. And this one is a file while loop, and finally block is just closing the objects. So because mandatorily you created objects here, you need to close them properly. So that's why finally block is so going to do that. It's a faster, little bit faster it will read. See, this is the very fast. That's all about reading the data from file to a program. So that's why I just read and you got the data here and you can use it, but I'm printing here, but you can use this data wherever you want. Generally, real use cases, you will use the data, you won't print, you will use this data in your program somewhere, some data you need, that data you can use. Generally in the Selenium, you will use the data from Excel sheet, you will read and put it there. In the maybe forms, you want to fill the forms, but the data is coming from Excel sheets. So that purpose, when you read it, okay, use it in the Selenium code. So that is what we are going to do here. And next one, file output stream demo. Say file output stream. So what we are doing is we are reading from the file and writing to the file. We are reading from the file and writing to the file. So how to read, you already know. And we did, right? This all file. See, we have an input file path, output file path. Input file path and output file path. So file out equal to new file. So this file is not there. Okay, this file is not there. So let me delete that. Okay, if it is there, I'll delete it. So now there is no file at all, right? There is no file. So this also I'll delete it. So there is no file now. There is no files at all. This output file is not there. So then what should we do? I need to create that. So that's what I'm doing here. If out file doesn't exist, there is a method exist method in the file class. If that doesn't exist, then create a new file. There is a method, create new file method is there. See, all these methods are available in the file class. You can use a lot of methods are there in the file class. So you explore and give me some more methods. So tomorrow, what are the methods are there in the file class? And so this will create the file. This file will be created. Now I need to represent this input file, right? Again, I need to create object, another file. So new file, input file path. So I'm creating another object. I'm creating another object because this object is this one. And FOS equal to new file input stream for reading the data. And FOS, this FOS object is for writing the data. So first read the data. So you got it. And then write the same data, this data to the write method, you pass it. FOS dot write, that means this FOS file, this output file, I am writing with a write method, right? FOS dot write I. So catch block IO exception and E dot print stack trace. E dot print stack trace. And finally, FOS dot close, FOS dot close. So that's the how to read and write the data to the files. That's why I say I closed them. Finally, block always executes, right? So that's what we are doing. So maybe you can increase this from here. So this scenario is different. Reading from this file and that data you're writing to the output file. That's the program. See that? And you go and see now, see output file is created just now. See, same data is available here also, output file. Next. So we have another one, buffered output stream. Okay, buffered output stream. So buffered output stream means you're reading. So reading purpose, you have to use a file input stream, buffered input stream. For writing, you have to use buffered output stream, file output stream. So that's the whole, again, you have to create object for. So if the file does, I am changing here. So can you see output dot doc file I'm creating. See, file output file equal to new file and this output file path. If the file doesn't exist, so then out file dot create new file. I'm asking create a new file. If this location, this file doesn't exist, create new file. This is the simple logic how to create a new file. So this condition you have to put mandatorily. So if you you read the data, you represent the file, input file, then create object for input file stream, and then create a buffered input stream object, then create object for writing purpose, you create object for file output stream object and buffered output stream object. So int I equal to 0 while so I equal to bas dot read not equal to -1, then that I character you can store. Then bos dot write and bos dot flush. So you need to use a flush method mandatory because every time it will keep large chunk of data it is going to write. So that data you have to flush it out and take the new data. So that purpose you're using a flush method. So then close the FOS and FOS objects. So that's the how to read and write to the with a buffering concept. Previous one I just only file input stream, file output stream. Now buffered input stream, buffered output stream with along with the file input stream, file output stream. So that's the difference between previous one and this one. We are using a buffering extra for each input and output files. And last one is a buffered writer. So buffer writer, here you can see file writer object, buffer writer object we are creating. So private static string output file path, this is the file, but this file is not there. Again, I'm creating that file. So I need to write from, I'll give input data in the keyboard. So to give the input data from the keyboard, you have to use a scanner class object, new scanner system.in. So, and I enter the data that you want to write. So string str equal to sc dot next line method, which is available in the scanner class. So this will take the string data only. So that will take the string data and that data I'm storing here. And this data I need to write to the file. So now fw equal to new file writer f and true. Okay, so now let me show you first overwriting the data. Okay, so that you can get a better idea. Let me comment out. Okay, now this object reference I am passing to new buffer writer fw. Then bw dot write this str. Then go to next line. Then flush it out. So this is the file. Okay, run this program, and it will ask you in the keyboard enter the data. See, still running until you press the enter key. It keep no, you can enter whatever the data you want. I'm just pressing enter. See, done. Now you go and you can see the file. See, file is created just now, and you can see learning file handling. That's the what we have written. And run one more time. Run one more time. Same program. See one more. See, previously we have written on learning file handling concepts, but this time, this is the data we have written. Now see what is the data is there in the file. Previous data is not there. Now this is the data, new data only there. That means it is overwriting. I want both the data. Then how can you do that? If you want both the data, you just need to use file object and then true. You have to use it true. So that's what you need to do that. So this one I'll comment out and then I'll use this one. See, there are two parameterized constructor I'm using for file writer class. So now it will overwrite, it will not overwrite, it will append the data. See now, you can get, see, previous data is there and new data is appending. So that's how to append the data to the files. This is a very important concept. You should be very clear on this. Now, so last program, how can you list all the files or particular files in the directory? Suppose you have a text files, you have a subdirectories, you have Excel files, you have a doc files, you have image files, but you want only image files. You want to print. How can you filter it? Or you want only Excel sheet, or you want only text files. How can you filter it? So that's listing the files and everything you can do with a simple program. So with a file class only you can achieve that. See, this is the list all the files. Okay. List all the files. See, static string file path. I have given this file path. So in this you have a lot of subfolders and everything. And I'm writing a simple method. So what is this method? So file f equal to new file and give this directory. And file array far equal to f dot list files. Then for loop file fa colon farr. This array name I am giving. So if fa dot get name ends with dot txt, then print that. Or whatever the type you want ends with. So dot txt, dot xlsx, dot jpeg, whatever you want, whatever the type you want, you filter it in the loop. You filter it only that file it will print. Then call this method. I am calling this method. So this is useful when you are using downloading files in Selenium. This will help. So this code will, you want to check downloaded file is there in the particular folder, and you write this code. This is the code you have to write. See, only txt files will be so printed. So not any other file. So this is the, so list all files, list files method you are calling from files file class. So that will store all the files, and then iterate one by one. And there is a get name method. So there are a lot of methods are there in the file class. So get name method, and you can use and get the name of that file. So that's all about listing the files. And so these are very important. Okay. So please go through these programs and create, and that really helps you. Okay. Yeah. So I'm stopping here. Tomorrow we can discuss on